Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the International Brotherhood of Magicians official podcast. Jason Michaels here, excited to have some more time with you, joined with by my co-hosts Ben Young and Scott Cantrell. Hello, fellas.
Hello.
Good to see everybody.
And as an aside, this time they flip-flopped roles. Ben is now he's podcasting from Nashville, and Scott is podcasting from Las Vegas. So go figure. So there you go. And we are joined by our special guest, Michael Bloemeke, recent FISM. Oh man, you're like a FISM champion. We're going to get into all of that in a moment. But thanks for being on the podcast. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy day to share some time with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I know the FISM rules. They have like the rule book on the website. And somewhere in there, it explains like what I'm allowed to use as my title.
Sure.
Like,
okay.
Win Grand Prix to be able to say Grand Prix. You're not allowed to say. I think technically anyone that wins an award is a FISM winner, but I'm not a world champion unless you get first or something.
Right.
It's funny that there are actual rules for that.
No, I mean, sure, absolutely. So, but you did walk away with some like bling. I don't think is it bling? Can you wear it around your neck? I don't think you can.
No, I can go get it if you want. I know you said you're putting up the video as well. It's just
yeah, you can if you want to, man. That's up to you. Okay, he's up. He's moving. Oh, look at this.
We're
this
mobile.
Thing is, wow.
I think it's still recent enough. I need to show off my cool little crystal thing. So I got the.
That's beautiful.
They're basically all the same. It's just size. Third place is smaller than I think second place is smaller than first place, and Grand Prix is this enormous, like this tall. It's huge, but this
nice.
Is they're all basically the same. The FISM.
Look at that! Hey, look. Congratulations. I know because I've been following what you've been doing for a while. I know that this has been a long journey for you. So to be able to have that is quite an accomplishment. It's very exciting.
Thank you so much. It's still weird. I was like, oh man, I can't believe that's on my mantle. So
well, one of the reasons I wanted to the reason I reached out to you and said, hey, would you be interested in participating in the podcast is because of your recent how well you did at FISM. And if I remember correctly, the I.B.M. was your sponsor to FISM, and so that's our connection to the I.B.M. Obviously, this is the I.B.M. podcast, but I know you've been competing because I remember a couple of years ago you were at a competition, and so did you compete? Remind me did you compete at the Winter Carnival of Magic with?
I did
a similar act?
FISM act. I can talk about that a little bit. I did not compete with it. I wanted to, but I didn't. But you were mentioning it, and it just reminded me the I.B.M. competition in 2022 was my first sort of debut of the act, one of the earliest versions of it. So
okay, so this is when we're recording. This is 2025, and when you originally put the idea out into the world and the competition world was all the way in 2022. So that's a 3-year journey.
And I can go into, I guess, a little more detail of the timeline and everything. I came up with the initial premise. I want to say late 2021, and then in early 2022, like January, February-ish, I was really trying to develop it more. Someone suggested, hey, go to the Winter Carnival and compete with this. And I thought that would be a good challenge, gives me a hard deadline. And so I just had such a hard time coming up with an actual act. I had the premise, I had a sequence, but not like much of a routine or an act. And then Winter Carnival rolls around and I couldn't do it. So I did a card trick. And then I talked to Charles Arkin. I always forget his last name. Charles Arkin. He told me that it's Arkin, right?
I want to Arkin, past international president. Yeah,
I want to make sure I'm saying it right. But he says like you should do the I.B.M. competition, and that was my sort of second chance. I was like, all right, this is my new deadline. This time I'm going to do it. So that was my first sort of public debut, but I did have the claws and the cups with me, and that was I think that convention at the Winter Carnival was the first time like anyone outside of my just local magic club had like seen it at all. So I was talking to Eric Tate at the tables in the lobby, and we were sort of workshopping ideas. But in terms of a performance, it was I.B.M.
So I know that magic is built around surprise, and certainly with an act like yours, there's a novelty to it. There's a novelty surprise to it. I hesitate to say exactly what the act is, unless you want to talk about it. So I just know it's. Tell us what you want if nobody's ever seen your act and they're like, "Ooh, Michael's going to be appearing at, such and such convention," you know, without giving it away, kind of what should they expect?
So well, first of all, I will say, well, okay. First of all, I will just say ahead of time, I can sometimes ramble and go on tangents and talk too much. So if you
Sounds
have a
like
hard
us.
time limit, feel free to just cut me off at any point. Um, I Now I forgot what the other one was. Oh yeah, I was gonna say again, example. I did perform it at FISM. I just performed it in the ETC show, so 6 performances at Magic Live. So a lot of people have seen it. I was
Okay.
going to put a video up on YouTube of the act. Although there is early versions of the act on YouTube. I'm still considering what to do about that with the FISM act, and I'll talk about that. So the reason I mentioned that is I don't mind giving away the whole thing, but I will also say that I was not in the comedy category, but it's a comedy act, and the jokes are a
Okay.
lot stronger if you don't know what's coming. So it's funnier the first time you see it. So that being said, I'll try not to give it away, but it's basically a really stupid. It's cups and balls. It's just a stupid joke stretched for 10 minutes, and it's sort of just gag after gag, gag, and that's it.
Sounds like Scott's act.
It was like here's
Exactly,
how this
that's
is
my
kind of a
entire
funny
act,
idea.
except not the difficult cups and balls part. Mine's like totally lazy, and
Yeah,
then just a stupid joke stretched for more like 25 minutes. So there
yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, it was like this is kind of a funny idea, and then the first version was like here's kind of a funny idea that is inherently funny, but apart from that, there's a couple jokes kind of, but mostly just Vernon's cups and balls. Just here's the ball jumps around. Now here's some final loads. And then as I was working on it more and more, I kept coming up with just gags until eventually it just became a full-on comedy act. And then I
Mm.
did it at 4F in 2024 in preparation for the Texas TAOM FISM qualifier for North America. And I knew that the 4F performance, the version there was not my final version, but it was, I had changed some things since 4F going into Texas. But at one point, I was looking back at that video that I got, and I was like, man, there's not a lot of magic. It's just a lot of jokes.
Oh,
So that was
that's
sort of the challenge
interesting.
now was making more actual magic. And that is kind of the challenge. Uh that was the challenge going into Texas. Now there is a lot more magic, but it still is not enough, I think. For any future developments of this act, I think I don't really need to add much more entertainment comedy jokes. It's mostly like how can I make the actual effect stronger? How can I make it more fooling and more just magical? Um, but um, but yeah, so I'm being kind of vague. I don't mind explaining the act. I also don't even mind going into details of the method. So it's kind of like for anyone listening, if you don't want that, then I guess I don't know.
We'll
I don't
see
know
you
what
next week on the
I don't
next
know. Maybe
episode.
you can edit it and interject with a timestamp of when we stop talking about it. But yeah, I guess I
Well, why don't you just give so you said it was a joke stretched out over the course of
yeah.
the cups a performance of the cups and balls. Give us the overview. So like if
I
without getting into too many details, just give us the overview
I
of
won't
what
explain
it
every
is.
joke and everything. I feel like now I've given the disclaimer. Shut your ears, I guess, and maybe you can edit it in like a. This is when Michael stops talking about the thing. But
Jason notoriously doesn't like to edit any of this, just so you know.
I have, and again, I would go and grab them, and I can if you want. The ones that I use are in my bag still, but I use those plastic toy robot claws, like a very iconic toy. You know, the one with the red claw and the silver thing, and then the black shaft and the yellow handle, the one that clicks. It's a
Okay.
little claw.
Is this like the type of thing that people used to pick up like trash on the side of the road, or is it?
Yes,
Am I?
but like
Do I have that?
it's a grabber thing.
It's a
It's a lot
grabber
shorter
thing.
because it's a toy for children, and it's like a
Okay.
robot hand, and it's just a little two prongs. I'm kind of trying to demo it. I can go get it if you want, but two-prong thing in the video. But yeah, it's not like a full hand. But basically, it is a yeah, just cups and balls with that. It's just I come out and I bring out the claws, and I'm using the claws to grab the cups, and
So yeah,
that's
I remember. You did it in at the IBM convention. Was that the one in 22? Is that you said? Or,
yes, me too.
okay, I remember when you brought that. That was that in Atlanta? It was in Atlanta,
Yes,
wasn't it?
Atlanta.
Okay, so I remember when you did that act and you brought out because you start by introducing the cups and balls and then you brought out the
Yeah,
claws, and I remember a very loud uh
Yep.
maybe.
just the crowd was laughing at the whole concept. They loved the idea,
Yeah,
and
the
they
moment
were
you brought out the yeah,
yeah.
I can
absolutely.
talk
The moment you
about
brought
some of
out the
that.
clause, there wasn't a reaction. Yeah.
I don't want to or again, just sort of as a warning, there is a whole lot I can say about everything because this act has consumed my life for the last little while. But I can talk about the IBM specifically, and part of
Sure.
that
Yeah.
is, and I want to be very careful. I don't in any way mean to say any way that might sound bad. There were a lot of cups and balls in the act or in the
Oh,
competition,
There
in
were a
that year.
lot. No,
if I
you can say
remember.
that. There were like
I don't.
every other act was cups and balls. It
Yeah,
was
and I didn't get to see
crazy.
them, so I'm not saying that they were good or bad. I assume they were all good. I heard some good things about people, but just quantity wise, there were a lot of cups and balls. And even if it's the greatest thing you've ever seen, if you see it 5 different versions of it 5 times, then it gets a little tiring. And
Yep.
for anyone that doesn't know, for the IBM competition, at least for close up, assuming it's still the same,
It
I
has changed a
performed
bit, but go ahead and describe
Okay,
how it used
for
to be.
me, it
Yeah.
was I had to perform the act 5 times back to back. So basically, instead of in a big theater, there were 5 different smaller like conference rooms, and the everyone that wanted to see the competition, they were chopped up into 5 different groups. So everyone was performing at the same time at any point. So I'm in one room, someone else in another room, someone else in another room, someone in another room, and then we all perform, and then we rotate. And so we're going through performance, 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 performance. And so what I noticed doing it, generally speaking, I think every performance was about the same. Like my performance of it, there wasn't like, ooh, I did this one and I kind of messed up a lot, or this one's really good. I remember it being basically the same every time. Like some good consistency. But I did notice the first room and the last room were the strongest response. The first room because it was so fresh, and the last room because they had all seen cups and balls, and it was, and this was kind of, I don't remember how intentional this was at the time, but now it is extremely intentional where I don't want to show the claws and I say, I'm going to do the cups and balls. And I want people to have that feeling of, oh no, cups and balls again. And then I bring out the claws to be like, okay, it's something different. And so it's for that reason the last room was really good. It was a really, really fun audience. They were all laughing a lot. And then the first room as well, just because it was the first act and they weren't kind of tired out from the competition, which again, it was like 10 acts. And after being at FISM, it's funny to think of anyone being tired after only 10 acts. When I sat through 160 competitors, and I was like, geez,
Wow.
there's a lot of magic at FISM. It's exhausting. But but yeah, so that is something, again, I don't remember how intentional it was at the time, but it's extremely intentional now that I have that delay so that I have the surprise, the clause. Um,
So what you're saying is that from competition and from putting it in front of audiences, you took notes,
yeah,
you probably had people take notes for you, give you ideas, give you some direction, and you made changes and adjustments.
and that's a good segue into something that I want to make sure I don't forget to acknowledge. I want to make it very clear how much of this act came from just help from others and inspiration, specifically my own Raleigh Magic Club. It's IBM Ring 199. And then also Slight Club. I don't know if you know about Slight Club. Basically, it's a group up in Charlotte. Kind of Scott Robinson is sort of the head of it. And it's sort of like a magic club, but a little more intense. So we're all friends. We like to socialize, but the point of the club is not to socialize, it's to workshop. And so at the beginning of every meeting, it's what do you have to share? What do you have to share? What do you have to share? And then we each go through and we give feedback. So it's very like hyper focused on improving each other. And they were a tremendous amount of help. So much of the jokes and gags and all that and the solutions, I'd be stuck on something and we were workshopping solutions. A lot of that came from those guys. And again, my own ring and just so many people all over the place. After 3 years, you just get to a point where you've met a lot of people and talked to a lot of people and gotten a lot of feedback. So I
So
do want
let
to
me
make it clear that a lot
let
of
me ask you this. I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you're willing to point that out.
I take all the glory. It is very much their help. It would not
Yeah.
exist without.
Here's the thing. I've been involved in magic clubs that you have feedback sessions, and sometimes that goes well, and sometimes that does not go well. Not everybody is able to
Yeah.
accept feedback very well. Do you have how does that? I mean, obvious. I don't know. How does that work within the group of that Slight Club? As far as you, it sounds to me like you have a group of people whose main focus, you are a social group, it is not the only thing
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
there for.
Before the meeting kind of officially starts, and it's just a bunch of hanging out at one of the members' houses, and so we're sitting around a table. So it's not like official, but beforehand we're talking and just hanging out and just having fun. and then it's like, all right, everyone's here, kind of let's hurry up and get started. And it is very well known when you join or when you like hear about it or get invited to kind of be a part of the group that like this is what it is. If you can't handle feedback, like you're not going to be a good fit. In fact, you kind of get kicked out if you're not a good not in a mean way, but in a, like this is a hyper focused thing. It's like this is kind of the structure, and so like if you can't handle feedback, then it might be like, all right, is this what you're looking for, kind of. And generally the way it works is you got to kind of be like invited by a member, very similar to like 4F, but but yeah, we are all friends, nobody is mean, but it's also clear that we're going to give you honest feedback. And that felt like such a breath of fresh air, because I always loved the whole brotherhoodness of Magic, and everyone's so nice and welcoming, but sometimes it felt, whether at a convention or wherever, and I'm talking to people, it's everyone's just like, yeah, that was cool, good job. And it's like, no, 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 like really, like critique it. Like I have to like always make sure I'm like giving permission and like asking them, like, no, really, like tear it apart. And so sometimes, again, not in any sort of exclusive way, but just because everything is so welcoming, sometimes it is a breath of fresh air to have something that's like, okay, if I'm terrible, I'll get kicked out. Like 4F. It's like I like that was something that's an invite only, and if I show up and I suck, I'm not allowed back. I don't want everything to be like that, but have some stuff occasionally as a way to challenge me and make everybody takes this seriously on a performance level. Is something that it is nice to have those environments, and it's
That's great.
very good for, again, just cultivating an act and really being able to look at stuff. So
I think it's great to have that mindset. And not everybody's looking to compete and not everybody's looking to like put their magic in front of a paying audience. But for those of us that are, I think it's great. Scott and Ben, what do you guys want to ask?
So, on the subject of like working on the act and making it better, I thought it was really interesting that in this call you showed us a FISM trophy, but you also said that you don't think there's enough magic in the act, and that's the next thing is you want to add more
yeah,
magic moments to it. So, can you talk a little bit about
yeah.
why you feel that way? Because I feel like a lot of people would go, "Look, I got the trophy, the act is done, I did my thing, and now it's over."
I'm not gonna say there's no magic. I worked very hard on a method. I was thinking jokingly to myself how annoyed I was that I have to do the act on the stage. I was like, I just want to walk out and show them how it works. It's like, hey, look what I built. It's like I'm using. I can talk about the method a little bit, um, but the method itself for a lot of the, specifically the final loads, even though most of them are in the middle of the act, because but just the not the balls, the loads. Um, that version of how to load them has changed a lot over the last several couple of years, and so the solutions I came up with. Again, there's a lot of side tangents, but I'll briefly say the current solution I'm very, very happy with, and I thought of it like 10 days before I had to get on the plane, and I was like, oh shoot. So
Nice.
I can talk a little bit more detail about that, because I was like, is this a bad idea to start 3D printing more things and redesigning stuff? But I like this idea. We'll try it. But yes, so there is magic. I don't mean to diminish it or in any way imply that you can go to FISM and not even do a magic trick. But yeah. Um, but the so that is the reason I did not get first place, second place, third place. This is close up act, and you're sorry, most original. I looked at the trophy, saw close up. No, it's most original. So you do have to have strong magic, but it was a lot of emphasis, I think, for this trophy in particular, the presentation. Also, what's funny, and this is kind of another segue into another topic, was putting it on YouTube. I'll just say right now, I fumbled a bit during the act. Not to like harp on things, but just this is the reason why I'm debating whether or not I want to put the video on YouTube. Once I get it, I'm still waiting for FISM to send it to me, because a lot of the act, the premise, the basic, the way it is, I can screw up and nobody will notice because that's just another joke. Some of it though is kind of obvious what happened. Cups and balls, you have three balls, or the audience thinks you have only three balls. At one point, I'm doing the act, I look down and there's just a fourth ball sitting there. I'm just, whoops, that's not supposed to happen. Let me put that back under a cup and continue. So a couple of things like that were clearly not jokes. And so I'm like, I wanted to put a full performance on YouTube of like it being, what it should be. And so I think I might still put it up, but I'm also thinking maybe cut it up and display bits, make it sort of like a trailer for my act or something. But that's something I'm just kind of thinking about. This isn't really relevant to what we were talking about, but it reminded me of that. I yeah, but in terms of how I got the trophy, with it being not so much magic, again, there was lots of magic, but the jokes itself, and I talked to Shoot about this a little bit. Shoot Ogawa, he was one of the judges, as well as a few others I was able to get some feedback from. And a lot of it, they were saying it really was just my presentation on stage. I well, I'm first of all very worried about sounding too. I feel weird praising myself, so I don't mean to sound in any way like I'm so.
Hey, are
I,
interviewing you
but
for a
I was
reason.
very. Thank you. I was very intentional about this, and it came across that of being very authentic, of being very much myself, and trying to be likable. I
Nice
think the
point.
main reason was the jokes, I think, as well. The jokes were extremely original. They were all, none of it was hack lines. The closest thing to a hack line I had, I think, if I remember, the closest like hack or commonly used joke was I have 3 cups and I get rid of one. So I say, so now I'm down to 2 cups and 2 balls. And I say, okay, much simpler now. I have 2 cups and I have 2 balls. And I also have these 2 green balls here. And that's kind of just the closest thing I think to a stock line. And
Hmm.
everything else is just very much original because the act it's just so specific to this act. So oh,
Yeah.
also Billy's here. Hello.
Yeah, we're joined by another FISM competitor slash winner, former past international president of the IBM, Billy Hsueh. Billy, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Billy.
how are you? Thanks for joining us on their I guess this is our IBM sponsored FISM interview session. I don't know what this is, but we're very pleased to have Michael and you joining us here today. Michael's been chatting with us about sort of the origin of his act, how it came about, and whatnot. And you also brought home some hardware from FISM.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of I just want you guys to share as much as you want to share as far as the act goes, because as I was talking to Michael a moment ago, as we were all discussing that magic is built on surprise, and so sometimes you want to save a little bit of the surprise. You don't want to tell too much about the act just for the folks who will see it in the future. So, do you want to tell us about your act and or share with us whatever you'd like to share with us? Just bring us up to date on what your experience has been like getting all the way to FISM and then becoming a winner.
So my act is a brand new take on finger drink. Um, I I honestly didn't know I was gonna dive head first and be this deep into one routine, but it is. And so it all just started out when Sean said, I think you should do a finger drink.
And you're talking
And
about Sean
that's
Farquhar, also past
yes.
international president and FISM world champion. Yes.
Yeah. And so that's where it all started. And as soon as he said that, I started going through my head about what I liked and what I didn't like about Think and Drink, and why I like it. And I took a lot of inspiration from Jen Steinmeier's Hospitality Illusion, because that's honestly one of my favorites.
Hmm.
Because my background is in hospitality. So with running banquets, food, beverage, bartending, all of that stuff. And yeah, I just decided to kind of roll with it.
That's interesting. Michael was just talking about authenticity, and now what you're saying that what you put your put your effort towards was something that again felt very much like you. Tell me how long was the development of this act? I know I remember seeing you compete with this act at the IBM convention, but how long was it in development?
About 3.5 years, almost 4.
Okay, that's another pretty. It's a big chunk of time to. Did you put it in front of different audiences and try it out and make adjustments?
Yep. It's been through a lot of iterations. I believe we did it the first time at a Cabaret of Wonders just to test everything out. And then when I've actually first brought out in front of magicians was at 4F.
Okay.
My first 4F. We grabbed a small group of people together and was like, hey, here's the routine. You guys want to see it? And that and um and while they did at that point, they also didn't know how it worked, but they were able to give a lot of good tips on just like generic handling. And they asked a lot of questions like, can you do this?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to think about it and go, yes, maybe. Let's try
Maybe.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the development of the entire act, there's been a lot of that. Of people just making a suggestion, being, hey, is this possible? And then
Mhm.
I have to come back, a week later going, yep, I did it. We're good now, and it's way better.
Nice, nice. Scott, you want to dive in here? I would love to hear some questions or some thoughts from you.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Appreciate you being here.
No, I'll just say a couple of things about both acts. And then I got a question for both of you, just in terms of overarching process. And you've spoken to this a little bit, but I want to dive a little deeper into some process question. But in terms of both acts, Michael, I just saw you at Magic Live like 2 days ago or 3 days ago, whatever it was, in the Experimental Theater Concepts show, and the show was fine. You were far and away, as I'm speaking for myself, and other people I talked to too. You were far and away the highlight of the show. It was fantastic. I'm so glad they put you at the end of the show to pull everything together and close the show. It was phenomenal. And having seen the act in Atlanta in 22 at IBM, I loved the act then, and it wasn't surprising to me that it's evolved and become what it's become in that period of time. But it's very clear the amount of work you put into it. It was fantastic then. I mean, it's a FISM winner now, rightfully so. So I just wanted to say that. And then, Billy, the first time I think I saw your version of Think a Drink was also at an IBM competition. When did
Mhm.
you compete with it?
Uh, Last year?
Last year. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
24.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And I it's a beautiful piece of magic, and you finish the routine. I won't talk about the ending of the routine, so to speak, but everybody that I was around, and some well thoughtful magicians who know a lot, and you're fooling everybody, man. I mean, I still don't know how it works. I don't want to know how it works. I'm looking forward to seeing the latest iteration of it. So just kudos to both of you. Process question. I know that Eric Tate is sort of the IBM liaison, the North America IBM liaison for FISM. And I know that the three of you were kind of the team, right? That was at FISM in Italy recently. Talk about the experience of being there, the whole FISM experience, working with Eric. I assume, because he's had that experience too. Any cool little gold nuggets or insights that you all got from Eric about the experience? Just talk about that team feel and what the experience was like being together, and maybe with some insights that Eric shared. I mean, from an IBM standpoint, we want more people like you to take on this, mountain, to try to summit the FISM mountain, which you guys have done. So talk about your experience working with Eric and so forth.
I can give a quick brief kind of backstory because I did not go to FISM Quebec, but
Mhm.
I heard from Eric. Basically, what happened was he goes to Quebec, and you look around and you see the Koreans have their matching team jackets and their coach, and the French team's enormous, and then the Americans are just kind of like, all right, you qualified, go on, figure it out. That's kind of
That's
my
right.
understanding of the situation. And so after Eric performed, he met up with Mark D'Souza, and they both had the same thought that, like, it's really a shame that there's not like a team. And so they were trying to do that more to like sort of prepare us. So
Yeah.
this year, FISM Italy was sort of the first, like, the beginning of them really trying to have some more structure and more of a team. And that was really nice. We had some regular kind of meetups, not physical, but on like Zoom. just sort of check in, see where we were, discuss some just any issues we're having with our act, work on solutions. Which I will mention, I was experimenting with a new idea, and I brought that up. We played with some ideas. Everyone gave great ideas. Blaze, Sarah in particular, gave me, again, I don't know how much you want to get into method, but gave me an enormous help with some material to use. And so just being able to have that resource, and then also the security of going to FISM and not feeling so alone was great. Where I thought, I mean, obviously we're gonna kind of get together, the Americans, and say hi, and of course, but to have a little bit more structure and regular check-ins, say, hey, I arrived, where are you guys? All right, what's the deal with check-in? Just have that, even just that official kind of group chat that we were in. It was really nice. And but I will say it did feel like this is the beginning of this. So there's definitely some more things, some more structure, some more kind of just make it even better for the next from the next group of people. And I've expressed to Eric that I am, even if I don't qualify, I'm more than happy and very eager to be a part of that and help out in any way that I can. And I've already
awesome.
started at
That's
Magic
great.
Live trying to just tell everyone, like, you should do FISM, you should do FISM. I talked to a few people who I
Nice.
the stuff they're doing, and just trying to get them kind of into the world of competing, and just trying to play a little role in increasing the sort of competition culture in America. Because from what I
Mhm.
understand, it's really dwindled over the years, and not a lot of people compete. So that'd be fun to just get a massive crowd of people at the next qualifier.
That would be awesome.
Yep.
Billy.
I agree with what Michael said. Being being part of a team, um, like, yes, it's the first time we've done it, and seeing, Spain, Germany, Italy, France having, their shirts, their jackets, and like a team of, like, I don't know, 50 people, and only like 20 people that's actually competing is kind of
Wow.
insane. But having that, the people behind you, knowing that they're there to help you no matter what, to make sure you succeed, even if we're competing in the same category. It doesn't matter. Like, if like I needed black fabric, I went to ask Michael for black fabric because I know he had some, and he was like, "Here, take it. I got enough." I was like, and so
That's
it
great.
really helps.
That's great.
Knowing that we have um the start of a FISM North America team, and I've been doing the same thing. I've been basically recruiting people. Hey, I think you should compete at FISM next time. Like, I think this act that you're doing is great. We can find some way to punch it up and be ready in a year, 2 years, 2 years for the qualifiers.
Yep.
Yeah,
You can do it. And it's fantastic. I love you, and you're amazing. Let's get it. And then,
that's great.
so I'm just encouraging people, because yeah, I think we need more competitors, and we have a lot of amazing magicians in North America,
Yeah.
Hmm.
but they're all busy working. They haven't really created their own, like, a comp thing in the competition setting,
Yep.
and they do amazing magic.
And you
And
can kind of compare. I mean, I guess it's harder for someone that wasn't there, but like I know Billy, you were there in Texas, so you can kind of vouch for this. I think like the European qualifier, yeah, it's different because Italy's hosting the big thing at the World Championship as well. But like the Italy qualifier had like their own website, a lot more of production. I think there were actually more levels of like qualifying competitions. I think,
Gotcha.
but it's just interesting to see a lot more competition, kind of like just more production for the competition in Europe, with a lot more attendees, a lot more competitors, versus America. There just wasn't a lot. So yeah,
You,
that'd be
it does strike me. It makes me wonder because you have like these national teams, and in some cases, they're sponsored literally by the country. The country is giving the team money and resources in order to compete. It does strike me that maybe if, and I don't know how this would work because North America is multiple countries, but um, I do wonder if you had a bunch of competitors from North America and a bunch of winners, and you could say, okay, we've got this, and you could just point to all these winners from North America, if that could in some way, shape, or form become a sponsored And I mean, obviously, we're talking about the IBM sponsored you all to go, but how amazing would it be if the IBM was able to put aside, I don't know, $50,000 to help you, and that's just a random number I pulled
Yeah,
out of
no.
nowhere,
Yeah.
to help you in development, to help you in travel cost, to help you to help make it happen. How amazing would that be? Because it does strike me that then all of a sudden, is it possible? Is it possible for these type of results, the type of results that you all got, then all of a sudden to take these two arts councils and to take these two government entities and to say, hey, this is real. This is not just some people who like magic tricks. And then let me just say right now, there's nothing wrong with liking magic tricks as a hobby, but if you're looking to like do it extremely at an extreme high level, to have that kind of that type of support, I would think would be very beneficial.
Yeah, I think everything you're saying, I completely agree with. And I don't think this is something I'm not allowed to say, but I was thinking, I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Like maybe even just like a GoFundMe across all of Magic and say, hey, help sponsor these guys go, because I know that um it costs a lot of money. The
Yep.
hotel was ridiculously nice, and I was afraid of staying in a different hotel just in case something happened and I need to last minute run up to my room and get some supplies to fix something. I wanted to stay at the main hotel. That was ridiculously expensive. The flight, even just like buying all the props, because I built like 7 different tables for my thing, so just a lot of money. And I was like, that'd be cool if we could get some support, because I think that's a big hurdle for people. They're like, well, I just can't afford to go. And I mentioned that to Eric, and he basically said yes, he agrees, and he's kind of working on that. So that is something that he wants to do for the next group. I hope I'm not saying something I'm not allowed to, but I don't imagine why I wouldn't be. So I'll just kind of leave it at that, because it's in the beginning stages. I don't know all the details, but I believe that is something that we are trying to get in the works. And I say we,
That's awesome.
I'm
That's
not doing
awesome.
those
So
statements.
we were talking a minute ago, right before you jumped on, Billy. We were talking about how in when Michael competed in 22, there was a competition at the IBM convention. He performed in multiple rooms. Since then, the IBM has changed how they do their competition. But I'm more interested in FISM, the FISM competition. Do you just perform one time, or is it just once, or
Yeah.
how's that work?
Yep, just once, the one shot.
That was a little bit of a frustration. It's like I want to perform again. Like I want to be in the Grand Prix show, not just because I want to be first, but I just want to perform it again.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone performs one time. Of course, if you win first place, then there's a second performance of the Grand Prix show, for who's the Grand Prix winner. To be honest, I'm not sure the judging on that. I don't know if they're judging the second performance or the first performance for the Grand Prix. But yeah, everybody performs once, and so it was a little bit like, I understand you can't do multiple. That's just unreasonable. There's too many people, but it's that's just an extra element of difficulty. You're kind of going in without that warm up, where you can warm up, but you can't like warm up on the stage. Versus, for example, at Magic Live, I did the ETC show. I did 3 performances on Monday night, 3 performances on Tuesday night, and I think everybody needed that warm up. The first show was the worst one, I think, because I was backstage and see everything. But from what I heard, everybody was like, yeah, that wasn't so good. And then the second show at 8 o'clock, everyone was like, that was so much better. We really needed that warm up. So yeah, that's just an extra level of difficulty at FISM. There's only one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Having it's honestly really weird that everything is on the line for that one performance, and you're just praying that everything works perfectly for
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
time. In your 8 minutes, everything's got to go right for the once.
Golly.
That's it, just once.
The thing I
Oh
was so
my
paranoid
gosh.
about was in my act, I do a wand spin with the claws. And that's
Oh,
early
that's
on,
awesome.
where it's like if I catch it, then it kind of sets the, it's like, okay, I got it. If I don't catch it, I play it off as a joke. But I don't think I've ever done it publicly and not caught it. So that's been very happy. But it,
Nice.
it sounds kind of really cheesy and corny to say this, but it really did feel like, I'm like, I hope I catch it, hope I catch it, and I only have one shot. So I go on, I spin it, I throw it, and I'm spinning it, and it feels really corny, but it was a lot like time kind of stopped, and I was like, all right, I let go of it. I really catch it, and it was such a, it feels like such a dumb thing to say, because that's such a kind of cliche thing, but that was how it felt. Like I could like kind of stop and like see it going around, and I was like, I hope I catch this. So yeah, it's definitely that stress where it's just rehearsal and then boom, the giant stage in 2000.
Mm.
Watching you.
You better be practiced up because you get one shot at it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was honestly such a rush because just before I was going on, um, my entire setup went wrong.
Oh,
Yep,
Wow.
everything went
when
wrong.
you say just before, you talking about 5 minutes before, 30 seconds before?
Okay, Billy, you're next. We have 3 minutes to set your stuff. Okay. Table
Wow.
goes out, chair goes out. I set the table with everything, and then things started going wrong. And you can Mike Miller and Joan were there. If you ever see them, you can ask how many times Billy swore backstage in that span of time in the 1 minute just before this, because they were also pushing to hurry for the close up to hurry up because
Oh,
there was some issues that day with I believe it was that day, or it could have been the day before, but there was an issue. They were running late, and so the organizers were like, "Hey, hurry up, go, 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 go!" And then they were like, we can switch you for the for the other like the next person's like, no, 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 it won't change a thing, and and so literally I was
Wow.
just like, I just remembered, Sean just said, when you're on the stage, just take a deep breath and remember where you are. You made it. And then I was just like, okay, deep breath.
that's great
Okay, call
advice.
it. We're doing a show. Let's go. I don't, if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. If it doesn't, great.
That's great.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
flipping that switch of we're doing a show. Let's just
Yeah.
go.
That's so nuts though, because hi Billy, by the way, nice to see you
Hi,
again.
Ben.
But I mean, that messes with your mojo. Like, not you're already nervous, and then having everything mess up at the beginning or like during the setup. I mean, you're already going out there like kind of more nervous. I mean, I can't even imagine.
I'll be
Mhm.
honest. I wasn't really nervous leading up to it. Um, the best way to put it this is how I spun in my head because this is what I was told. That this is the worst gig I've ever had. I'm paying to be there to do 8 minutes. So I'm just gonna go there and do 8 minutes.
That's a great reframe though, right? To
Yeah.
help just like chill.
Yeah.
You know
And
what? So let me just say this.
And
I just want to
you're
jump in.
performing, sorry, Jason, and you're performing for the worst audience in the world, a group of magicians.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
That have
I don't
seen
think
7 million acts before you.
right. But I don't think if you haven't competed before, I don't know that you have had the experience of what it's like in a competition. Even if it doesn't have to be an international doesn't have to be a national, it doesn't have to be it could just be any sort of competition. What you have is you've got the act before you, and they have to tear that off the stage. They have to get you on the stage. Usually not always, but there's some sort of a technical person or somebody who's trying to make sure that you're in the right spot. It's just so easy for stuff to get knocked off tables or to get something that's maybe a little bit delicate or requires a specific preset. It's so easy for that to get screwed up. We don't even think about that. We just sit in the audience, and when the next act comes up, if they're not perfect, we're like, oh God, this is terrible. But we don't consider all the stuff leading up to, that 8 minutes that you're standing on the stage.
Yep.
This is a lesson in empathy.
Yeah, exactly.
Eric was telling me before I went on to the Texas qualifier, he was telling me like just be prepared for something because he was saying there's some guy in Quebec who apparently the performers didn't realize like the stage was basically a giant lazy Susan, is I think what he said, but like rotated in a way they didn't expect. And so he was telling me there was like one guy who had a lot of stuff like balanced on sort of posts back behind the table. Basically his whole act was kind of ruined because it like knocked everything out of place when it moved. And so yeah, he was like, be prepared for something like just in case, because that's a real shame to spend all that time and money and effort and then like now I can't really do the act. So yeah.
How much setup did you have? Was there any rehearsal time, or was it just set up and do your act?
We had a technical rehearsal where we had 10 minutes to deal with our sound, our lights, and our staging and blocking everything.
Okay, so
It
you
was
had
a very
10 minutes.
strict 10 minutes because there was a lot of competitors. So,
Yeah.
so I was like, all right, I got this. What do I have to do? Okay, there's that. It felt very rushed for good
Yeah.
reason. Yeah, we had
I was
go.
Yeah. I was really lucky that I had a lot of friends on my teching on my day. A lot of my friends from Great Britain, and they were just like, "Hey, you need help?" I was like, "Yeah, can you check the check this, check the lights, check this for me?"
Mhm.
And yeah, a lot. I was lucky to have that help, and yeah, having the
So
friendships.
so tell me this, because the IBM so okay, let me rephrase. Let's say we're 2 years out from in 2027, the IBM is hosting the FISM North American Championships, and that gives
Las
um,
Vegas, right?
yep, Las Vegas. It's very exciting. That gives anybody who's listening to the podcast, who's watching the podcast, that gives them, if they're even considering it, that gives them 2 years to prepare
Mhm.
to qualify for FISM, which is going to be in Busan, South Korea. That's correct, isn't it? That's what was selected, and that will be in 2028. So from this moment on, there's 3 years to get to FISM, and it sounds like it took both of you about 3 years to come up with the concepts, to play with the ideas, to put it in front of audiences, to tweak, to work with your team, all of the above. What does somebody need to know about leading up to the North American Championships in 2027? What does somebody need to know if they're
I
like, you know what, this sounds cool?
I would first say it's very doable. It sounds like shoot, only 2 or 3 years. I again just to kind of go back over the timeline, it was very late 2021 that I had the idea. This claw is a funny prop. I want to do something. Early 2022, I was working on I couldn't come up with a routine. By March of 22, I didn't have a routine at all. And then I decided I want to compete at IBM. I'm gonna enter a card trick that I did as because you had to enter something, and then I'm just gonna switch it to cups and balls if I come up with it. So between just March to I think June, July, so
Yeah.
just a couple months, I was able to go from basically nothing, just an idea, to a routine that I was able to compete with. And then at that convention, it was like a week before FISM Quebec because they had all the competitors from America doing their act, like kind of one last rehearsal. And so yeah, my act was basically like if you started right now, that's almost the exact timeline of me. So I was able to do it at least in that timeline. And I even took a big break at one point because I was just like I bought a house and I was like, I don't have time for this. I had to like do all this reflooring and I was just distracted by stuff. So and I don't mean this to say like I was able to make this whole act in such a short time, just that it is very doable. And then also with this being a more serious act that well, I mean mine's not serious, but serious in the sense that like this is something I'm really trying to focus on and really important that I develop this as I'm doing it and it's really consuming my life and my brain. It's so hard sometimes to take a step back and like just mentally I become so familiar with it that like this is the act, this is how it goes, so it's so hard to imagine it going another way to fix some problem, some solution that I'm working on. All right, how do I make this more deceptive? So with that being said, I would say just really the importance of talking to other people and getting other insight is even more so than normal. I would say very important for developing something that you're going to be focusing on a lot, like more so than any other trick in your show in your repertoire than anything else for the next couple of years. So definitely get help from other people, and it is doable. So don't think like there's not enough time. So that's kind of my advice and feedback, I guess.
What do you say, Billy?
I would say get ready to have this 8 minutes
Oh
take
yeah.
over your entire life, researching that one trick of the entire history behind that one trick for the next 3 years.
It's doable, but it will consume a lot of your time.
Yes, it's doable. And I would say, even if you don't think you have a concept, go pick your favorite routine that you already do. Pick something that you love already
Hmm,
and find ways to make it better.
I
It
like
doesn't
that.
exactly have to be, novel, or it doesn't have to be like brand new or innovative. It just needs to it, go look at the other Physimax. Um, they basically take that one trick to the extreme, basically. So if you find that one trick that you love and just run with it and don't stop no matter how weird it gets, because no idea is a bad okay, that's not true. Some ideas are not bad ideas. Um but you don't know if they're gonna work or if they're gonna be good unless you try them.
Yeah.
So literally run with it, don't stop, and yes, talk to other people, because maybe you're just that one thing you thought of maybe just isn't funny, even though if you think it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
I even went on YouTube and made a playlist of just every cups and balls video I could find. I wanted to see everyone's version, just to
Mhm.
spark ideas and be like, all right, what can I parody? What can I do? What can't I do? If is watching this gonna spark some ideas? So yeah, go look at other versions of your routine or things similar at least, because it does help inspire things.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
for me with Think and Drink, like I said before, the reason why I came to the way that I'm doing it now is because I looked at all the other versions and I went like, oh, I like that, but I hate that. Oh, I don't like
Mhm.
that part of it, but I like this part of it. And so just if you do that with that one effect that you choose, you might come up with something cool, something new, as long as you try to fix the problems that you hate.
And also
Yeah.
watch a lot of acts that you don't like.
That too.
But if you, what I like to do is if I don't like something, sometimes it's like, I don't know, I just don't like it. And so I try to stop and really like figure out why don't I like this? Like what
Yep.
specifically is it? That way it's just easier to have your own kind of, again, sense of performance style and presentation that is authentic, because like this is what you like to do and don't like.
It's great. Ben, Scott, do you guys have anything that's popping into your brain that any probing questions you need an answer to?
What did y'all's rehearsal schedule look like leading up to FISM, your personal rehearsal?
Well, this is getting a little bit into method, which I don't mind, but just the warning for anyone that is doesn't want to know. I have a it's a two-person act. You don't know it's a two-person act, but it's a two-person act. And actually, that's not true. I think a lot of people know it's a two-person act, but you're not supposed. I have no idea. I had to work with another person who lives 3 hours away, so I was driving to his house every week, just because I wanted to do more often. It was just a long drive, and I had other stuff to do. So I had to figure out a schedule with him as well. And then, as I mentioned, the method for some of it, of just like the physical design of the props and certain things, was constantly changing up until like the last minute. I kept having new ideas for how to make it a little better. Like, this works and I can do this, but I think this would look better. And let me redesign it. Oh, that is better. You know, I can make it better. Redesign it again. You know, that's not as good. Go back to the other way. So it's constantly updating the method to a dangerously late in the in the timeline. But yeah, there was a ton of 3D printing. I watched the entire, I guess, 2 seasons of Silo, just at night, wrapping 3D printing things, wrapping them in Teflon tape, gluing them together, putting on gluing fabric, just building the props. There was a lot of building the props for me, and then just trying to organize a schedule to rehearse it with my assistant, who helped me out a lot. And so yeah, mine was unique because I had to coordinate some of that with another guy. So
Yep.
Mine is also a two-person. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that explains everything. It's a very small person.
It's a very small person. There's a mirror. Never mind. It's my rehearsal schedule is very different. So since my finger drink is part of my normal show, I do it all the time.
Mhm.
So the performance aspect of it is kind of is just muscle memory. It's second nature to me. But I spent a lot of time with my friend Simon Cassegrain, many times at his dinner table. Um, you know, teapot, everything else I needed. I went shopping a lot for stuff, and I have be like, okay, what if we did this with a thing that I can't talk about, or what if I did this? What if we tried this? What if we did this? Would this work better? There's just like a lot of like I was at his house basically every week, trying to update. I wouldn't say update the method like full, like so it's completely different, so that it's better. It's what it is, but just a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not exactly rocket science, but it's little improvements, quality of life changes.
Okay.
There we go. And then also
Yeah.
performing it in front of magicians, and then asking for their opinions, whether it be performance, like presentation, blocking, or just their general thoughts. There's been I was talking to Boris Wilde at 4F afterwards, and he was like, "I saw you do this thing on Fool Us, but you didn't do it today. Why didn't you?" I was like, "Oh, the Fool Us thing was an accident." And then he's like, "Well, can you do it again? Can you make it happen again?" I was like, I think I can." And then, 2 weeks later, I managed to somehow figure out a better handling for it and actually do what he wanted, and it just made it just that much better.
You know what I love about this? There, outside of the magic community, people think that magicians keep our secrets to ourselves, but what you're talking about here is very much how fraternal the actual community really is, how giving, how much people want to see others succeed and to help them do so. And you're talking about, and I mean, you all are talking about some heavy hitters. I mean, you're talking about Slate Club, and I've been around. I've heard of Slate Club. You're talking about Sean and Boris. We're talking about big time FISM winners, major champions here. And so you're talking about folks who don't have to do this, but they want to see others do well. Uh, Scott, any final thoughts?
I'll just
inquiries?
say congratulations to both of you guys. I mean, incredibly well deserved, and just kudos on behalf of the IBM and North American magicians. Kudos and thank you for your willingness to help, shepherd and mentor other acts that may come on your coattails. So you guys are incredible admiration for what you've done. The work was, I know it consumed your lives and may still, right? That's the other thing is, right, these acts, you achieved what you did at FISM, but based on Michael, what you said about your act, and obviously Billy, this Think a Drink's not coming out of your show, so these acts continue to evolve, and so anyway, just congratulations. Proud of you both, and excited to see what you guys do next.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me ask one final question, and feel free to answer the question however you like, and give us your final thoughts. Just that if there's anything that you just really want people to know or to walk away with, any final thoughts. But I'm going to ask this question, understanding that it may be too soon because FISM was just, I mean, I don't know, a month ago. I mean, we're not talking about that long ago. So, yeah, we're talking about weeks ago. So, have you noticed? Okay, the question is, has it changed your life? Obviously, it's too soon to know that, but I guess my question is, have you had some interesting things happen because of it? Have people reached out to you that may not have reached out to you before? Are you talking to folks that you don't have to get into it? You don't have to tell us what's happening if it's confidential, but you know, in addition to winning and having that FISM next to your name to be, which is a big deal. Has it affected you professionally or in any other way?
I can go ahead and say I'll be vague just because I don't know. I don't think there's anything that's confidential, but just in case, I'll be vague. Even just going to FISM, I had on my website. Actually, I still have because I need to update it. I've been very busy with just going back and forth. But I had like a big thing, in 2025, Michael will be going to Italy to represent the United States, the World Championship, trying to make a big deal out of it. And um, um, so that got me some people like reaching out, either even just professionally in terms of like, hey, you seem to be legit. Like, I've got a client that's looking for a thing. Can you send me some stuff? A different, not so much a gig, but another thing that they reached out to me about that. Um, Again, I think I can say it, but I'll be vague just in case. Um, I I also at one point was trying to milk it. Like, all right, I'm going to FISM. You know what? I should try to get on like local TV. See if that seems interesting enough. I should use that to just be on local TV is good for business as well as just promote some shows and stuff. And I could never get a hold of them. And so a friend of mine suggested like, oh, what if you had like a written article? That would probably be get their attention. So I did that. I got someone to write an article about me on just a local news site, and I'm still trying to get a TV station to talk to me. But that local article was published, and I got a lot of gigs from that, or people reaching out to me, some gigs about that. Actually,
Nice.
a big thing that is still in progress, like a gig, like a public show that this venue wanted to host me because of this article. So there's that, and this is all before FISM, just advertising that I'm going. And then after winning, it's hard to say because I don't know, but I've since changed like when I send out promo stuff and like my kind of bio and everything, and I'm really trying to make it sound big. Like I am now globally recognized for creativity and originality. So I'm putting these in bold letters in my bio, and I just booked a pretty big, actually the biggest I've ever booked corporate gig.
Nice.
I don't know for sure that it's because of that, but being able to now start advertising that, I've noticed there's some more
Yeah.
responses to my quotes that I'm sending out, as well as again getting reached out to by other things. Um, I I don't think this is the reason Stan booked me. So someone canceled at Magic Live. They got COVID. So the day before, Stan Allen called me up. He asked me how was FISM. So I don't think he knew that I wanted an award, or if he was just being kind of starting the conversation, being polite. So I don't know if FISM was able to get me into Magic Live, although Stan had seen my act in Texas, so in a way, preparing for FISM did it. But I am doing, again, I don't know if I can say it, but I am doing a convention. I was just booked for.
Nice.
Um,
Awesome.
hey,
Nice.
so if you want to go to every convention ever in the next upcoming, you'll see me. I'm afraid of saying which one because I don't want to get in trouble. I think I can, but just in case. There's a few other conventions that I am talking about. And I've had people say, "Hey, I know this guy who runs it. I'm going to try to get you in." Um,
That's great.
Rodney Piper in his theater up in Spain, he said he wanted to get me in there. So getting booked for some conventions and just having that conversation. So I'm kind of
That's
talking
cool.
a lot, but yeah, it's only been like 2-3 weeks and it's already I'm helping out. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've been I've been getting hit up by a lot of the radio stations and no TV stations yet, but who knows? That'll probably happen. Um, and I know I don't think I should talk about this, but I'm not going to also be vague. I'll be writing a short little blurb in a book. Someone contacted me to be part of their book.
Nice.
About my experience with Think a Drink and all of that stuff. Um, Gotten a lot of people uh who were at FISM but wanted to see my act but couldn't due to the scheduling, timing, and stuff of things. And they're like, I didn't see your act, I want to see it. And
Yeah.
then me sending them a link to the Fool Us videos, like this is an older version. It's the essence is still the same, but things have changed from then until now.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people asking to see that, and it's been cool. Like a lot some pretty big names too. So it's kind of like, oh,
That's
okay,
awesome.
you're just messaging me out of the blue. Oh, all right.
And you know what? Because of what happened at FISM, you all are the next generation of the big names. You all are the ones who are going to move this. You're going to take this and move things forward in the magic world. And so I'll just say what Scott said. Congratulations on your success. It sounds like you were willing to work hard and stay focused, and because of that, and because of the folks that you surrounded yourself with and listened, that you have had the success that you've had. And so I know that the IBM is very proud of you both, and thanks for being willing to spend some time chatting with us here today. Does anybody have any last thing that they want to comment on? Okay, Ben.
So, Jason, you sort of stole it from me earlier. I've been
Ah,
sitting on it for the past half hour. I was like, I already know my final thought, but just reiterating that Magic is so much more collaborative than people realize. And so, just a message to people that are listening, especially if you're just getting started in Magic, if you feel like you're kind of alone, don't be alone. Find your local ring, connect with magicians online, like work with each other. Magic is all about secrets, he says with air quotes if you're listening, but work with other magicians. Even if you're not trying to compete, just work with other people on your stuff, get feedback, get better. You're not alone.
yeah,
That's it.
and
Yeah.
kind of to combine those two, Jason and Ben. The one last thing I'll say, I did say this earlier, but I'll reiterate again. Yeah, if you have any interest in doing FISM or competing at all, I can't say for sure that I can help you at all with the actual act itself. I don't pretend to be some genius in magic, but at least the fact that I've been there, and so I know a little bit about what that process is like. If you have any interest at all, like I'm happy to just kind of open up my, feel free to message me is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Message me, reach out. Also, if you do really want to do it, also anyone else who's been, but also Eric Tate as well. Eric and Mark D'Souza are like I said, putting kind of the head of that team that we're doing. But I mean, I'd love to go back to FISM, but even if I don't, like again, anyone that wants any advice, I'm happy to help out. I want to help people. I want to improve and encourage the competition scene, like I said, and then also again, I receive so much help and support from all of the magic community that I want to definitely give back in any way that I can. So
It's very
if you have any
cool.
thoughts on FISM or just competing in general, like please feel free to message me on Instagram, send me an email or something. Just I've got a thing on my website. You can just send a message where whatever you want. I'm happy to talk.
Yeah, same here. If you want to talk about any questions, feel free to reach out. Definitely happy to do my best to answer them. And also just don't be afraid to just reach out to people that you know are experts at whatever you're doing. Don't be afraid to ask those questions. The worst thing they can do is not respond to you. So just throw it out. I believe there are no stupid questions, because you'll learn from them. And I hope in 2 years I'll see you at the North America FISM Champions. I'm looking forward to sharing the stage with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, Michael and Billy. On behalf of my co-hosts, Ben Young and Scott Cantrell, my name is Jason Michaels. This has been the International Brotherhood of Magicians official podcast. Hey, if you want to contact us and let us know what you think of the podcast, just go on the show notes. You can check out our socials. You can message us. We would love to hear your thoughts. It's been a lot of fun. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Yeah, that's great.